Yeah, so just on Reddit today, I saw something that this dude developed what he claims will be the answer to homelessness, um, which I have to say not only does not solve homelessness, it is pretty insulting and kind of disgusting, if you ask me. Let me full screen this. He created a tiny home that could solve homelessness. And look at this like sheet metal thing. It's smaller than a dumpster.
Ryan, what we got?
A little tiny home here. So it is 4 feet by 7 feet, so it's 28 square feet total. I want to show you around.
4 feet by 7 feet, 28 square feet total.
A few things. Take a peek.
Okay, I'm gonna sit right here in the corner, okay, Ryan?
Okay.
Mind you, I'm about 6'2".
I'm 6'1". I fit in here. I got a lot of space.
Yep.
So inside here, you got your ventilation. This is really important for the winter time, or sorry, for the summertime. You can keep all your heat and you can cook. Right here, you got a desk. That's the way you can eat, do your artwork, do whatever you gotta do. Down below the desk, you got some more storage. Right there. That's where I keep the bedding for the unit.
Nice.
You got a microwave up here. You got some running water right here.
Running water means it pulls it from a plastic gallon under the sink. There is no toilet, by the way. There is no plumbing. There is no bathroom. There is no running water. Most likely just one outlet because there is only a microwave. And who knows if it really has an outlet.
Make sure you're safe when you're cooking. You got a smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector here. It's got to be safe, right? That's 100%. And if you happen to have, your cooking gets a bit too spicy, you got yourself a fire extinguisher. Below the sink here, you got a 20-liter water tank. Up here, this is where you store all your kitchen stuff. I got a propane burner behind me. And then
Where do we sleep, Brian?
When you're ready to go to bed, I grab this back cushion, put it down, move it over.
Damn. And the same thing for this one, right?
This cushion as well slides down.
Oh my god.
This is bigger than a single, it's smaller than a double. So it's actually quite spacious. I'm 6 foot tall, I got no problem here.
How are you going to put the other piece down? You'd have to crawl your stinky homeless self all over that fabric.
Damn, Ryan, thank you so much. And where can people find you?
They can find me at my website, tinytinyhomes.ca. They can find me on Instagram at tinytinyhomestoronto, or they can find me on TikTok, tinytinyhomes.
Yeah, man, appreciate you. You're doing God's work. Blessings, brother.
Yeah, God's work. Would you live there? How long would you live there before you completely trash the place? Or there's not even enough room to hang yourself. And I know it seems like a good idea because homeless people don't have a place to sleep. They're homeless. They don't have a home. Sure, they set up tents and stuff like that. They have tent cities and whatnot. But the cities don't like those. They tear those shits down. So this guy is going to solve everything with this mini dumpster. You know what? I don't care how it sounds. I really don't. This is not a home. This is not an apartment. This place has no electric. It has no plumbing. It has no bathroom. It has no air conditioner. It has no heating. It has no toilet. It has no laundry facilities. It has no stove, no fridge. There is barely enough room to stand up straight. It is the size of a closet. I think what this is about is instead of having tent cities, instead of having visible homeless, this is just a way to get them out of sight and out of mind so that people don't have to see homeless people anymore. You could put pretty looking siding on these mini dumpster looking things and just line them up in alleyways and shit like that. And have vacant or occupied switch locks on them, like they put on public bathroom stalls in Europe. And at night, homeless people will be able to stay in one of those, and they're completely out of sight and out of mind because nobody wants to see homeless people and nobody wants to fix a homeless problem. As George Carlin said, it's houselessness. These people need tangible, comfortable, satisfactory homes. This is not a home. This is a glorified rat's nest. This is a glorified dumpster for homeless people to take shelter in. If it's -10 outside, or if it's 110 outside, or if, people just don't want to look at them anymore. Keep the heat in. Here's a little fan in the ceiling to keep air circulating, and there's a little window. There is no heater. There is no air conditioning. When he says keep the heat in, he means it just keeps wind from biting you. There is no heating inside. So it's a couple of metal walls and a ceiling that a homeless person can bundle up into and maybe be somewhat less cold than if they were outside. A homeless person, of course, with no toilet, no bathroom, no shower, no electric, no plumbing. What do you think is going to happen to that nice new looking unit in a week flat? You're going to have bed bugs all over that thing. You're going to have shit smeared all over the place. You're going to have dirty floors. That's another thing. Who's going to clean up these units? The homeless person isn't going to do it because I doubt you're giving it as a tiny, tiny home to a homeless person. This is just something the city is supposed to put up somewhere that if they're vacant, a homeless person can sleep in them at night or hide out in them during extreme or inclement weather. You're not going to give these to individual people. There's going to be different people going in and out of there every day. And with no toilet, with no water, with no heat, with no air conditioning, with no electric, it isn't going to even be able to do what a home is designed to do, which is be a place where you could shower, be a place where you could take a shit, be a place where you can relax, be a place where you can switch up or down a thermostat and be comfortable, be a place where you can cook, where you can have family or friends, where you can make meals and wash dishes and, 1,000 other things. Plug something into a wall socket. These tiny, tiny homes don't have any of those things. It's just a glorified rat's nest for homeless people. And unless you're going to give a key over to a homeless person, or even if you do, it's not going to be for one person. Someone's going to steal it, or they're going to have to be vacant by a certain time each day. The city would probably run those things like shelter beds, where you have to line up in the morning in order to get one for the night. And again, who is going to clean them? Who's going to pay the people to clean them? Because those cushions will be filled with insects. The floors will be covered with grime. Where are these people going to piss? Where are these people going to shit? They're going to do it inside because there's no toilet. And who's going to take care of that? Hey, Pedro. Who's going to replace the microwave when somebody steals it? Who's going to kick out the prostitutes? Who is going to make sure they don't become drug dens? Since they're not going to be adequate for anybody to call it their home. And they're most likely not going to belong to people like a home. Fine. So, how would you feel about something like this? It ain't even going to belong to you. Will tenants' rights be in play here? Probably not. Probably not. Thanks. So you're supposed to feel happy getting a place. It's like a motel room, but without a bathroom. It's like a motel room that's half as nice, not even. It's a little dumpster with a cushion in it and a desk. Someone's going to sit on that and it's going to break under their ass anyway. I give you about 3 days before that happens. In fact, someone will steal the cushions. Everything will be ruined or it will be stolen. And that is because I guarantee you, you are not meaning to give these places to people. They're going to be spending the night in a place like this and they don't even own it. Do you think they're going to take care of it? If it looks like shit in a week, do you think anybody else is going to take care of it? Topic is this dude is being praised because he created a tiny, tiny home prototype that is supposed to solve homelessness. And my problem is I'm saying it is not a home and it's an insult. It is a glorified dumpster. Yeah. I don't think the city is going to want to pay for these things because the city is not going to want to pay people to clean them, pay people to replace everything that gets inevitably stolen or shit on. They're probably not going to give these to people like their homes or apartments. And that's another thing. Don't call them tiny, tiny homes if you are not giving them to people as their home. It's a glorified rat's nest, a glorified dumpster that people are going to ruin. It is not sufficient for anybody to live in. It is not a home. It is not an apartment. And yeah, I'm going to go there. Like, I watch a lot of Ori Katerina on YouTube. She's this woman from Finland who she calls herself the best cleaner in the world. She loves to clean messes. She is she's got something like 4 or 5 million subscribers on YouTube alone. She's all over social media and she's so happy and she loves messes. She will clean any mess, no matter how big, no matter how bad. She has helped out extreme hoarders. She has helped out old people with dementia, people that have not cleaned in multiple years. And because she's from Finland, she talks to you, the viewer, and she talks about how in Finland they have degrees or certificates. They have like an education for housekeepers and maintenance people. You have to get an education to be a housekeeper there. And they also have no homelessness. They have no homelessness because every person in her country, every person in Finland who is there is entitled to have a proper home to live in. And they have a lot of apartments. So if you are homeless, if you are down on your luck, if you are so poor you only make a few $100s a month or something like that, if you're on fucking welfare, it doesn't matter. They don't throw you into a shelter. They don't throw you out on the streets. They don't build insulting shit like this, which does not function as a home. It does not function as an apartment. It is not a place anyone would call home. They don't do that to people. What they have are, like, we have subsidized apartment complexes. They have regular apartment units for people of all incomes. Sometimes Ori Katerina goes into some of these apartments. She won't show the tenant or the homeowner, but she will go over their story. And she's like, this is one of those apartments where you have a guy who is down on their luck and is an addict and is in recovery and has no family in the country and doesn't have a place to live. And in my country, there's no such thing as homelessness. Everyone is entitled to an adequate place to live. Nobody goes homeless. So what they will do for you in my country is they will find an empty apartment unit and they will give it to an otherwise homeless person. Now, some of these apartments, you could compare them to tiny homes. Sometimes there is maybe enough room. Maybe it's about the size of a large bedroom or a medium-sized bedroom, where maybe there is just a small kitchenette, and then there is a spot for a bed or a couch or a pull-out bed, room for a small table and chairs, but then you have a closet, then you have a bathroom, you have electricity, you have plumbing, you have lighting, you have windows, um, you have all the safety amenities. You are in a building that will have an elevator for the disabled. It will have laundry facilities that you can use just like all the other tenants in the building. Point is, even if it's going to be small, it's going to be an adequate place to live. You can call it a home. It'll have a stove, it'll have a fridge, it'll have a sink that you don't have to worry about it running out of a plastic gallon of water that it pumps your water from. It's another thing. What happens when they run out of water? What happens if somebody steals the water? You know, but in Finland, that's what they do. Um, and even though the apartments can be quite small, you can still have people visit you. You still have electricity. You still have heating. You have all of the amenities that everybody else does. You get a key that you let yourself in. You have a deadbolt on your door. You have the camera security outside like everybody else does. You know, you have tenants' rights like everybody else does. You get the unit, it's yours. Nobody can come into it. Nobody else uses it. It's your apartment unit. And then when you get on your feet, then you can get a bigger unit. You can move out, buy a home, do whatever you can do. It's just if you can't afford a place to live, then they give you this apartment unit to live in. And you have the same safety and amenities and dignity and privacy that anybody else does. And of course, I watch Ori Katerina clean some of these units, and even the smallest ones are cute. And you want to know what really gets me with these tiny apartment units they give to people? The shit is in better condition than where I live. Better condition than the crap I have at my place. It is not a slum, you know? The drywall is new and freshly painted. The outlets match. The sink is brand new stainless steel. The counters are brand new. The toilet and the tub or the shower area is white as white can be. They build those little tiny units the same as any other apartment unit. And like in Finland, they have floor drains, and like you have like hoses connected to the wall in your bathroom so you can spray everything down when you clean and it goes into the floor drain. They've got all the same shit and it looks better. My floor is fucked. My drywall is crumbling. And I don't see that in the apartments that she cleans. Um, Thing is, this is just, I'm sorry. And you know what? I don't know if I should feel bad for this guy or if I should just go ahead and be angry, because you can tell they're all so happy for this guy. He solved homelessness. It's a dumpster. It's smaller than a dumpster. It's got no toilet. It's got no plumbing. It's got no electric. It has a plastic tub of water under the sink. What are people going to do when they run out of water? What are people going to do to clean and maintain these places? They can't do it. So who's going to pay to do it? They don't have laundry facilities. They don't have a toilet. They don't have a shower. Do you think it's going to look that clean by this time tomorrow? Who's going to check for bed bugs? You know? Do you think, is that microwave bolted into the metal? Because that thing's getting stolen. And exactly how is your tiny, tiny home going to work? Are they assigned to people? If that were the case, that would mean that they temporarily have ownership of it. You would have to give them a key. They're going to need a landlord to go to for any maintenance problems. What if it's 20 degrees outside, middle of winter, and they run out of this much water that you've given them? Are you going to come down and replace their water? No. And that's because these are not homes. I don't think it's right to call them tiny, tiny homes. They're not homes. It is not a home. It is not an apartment. It is a metal box. It looks to me to be smaller, actually, than the size of a jail cell. A jail cell comes with a toilet. A jail cell comes with a sink. A jail cell has plumbing. A jail cell has fresh water at all times. A jail cell comes with heating and central air and whatever they got in the building. A jail cell comes with an actual bed. And people that stay there, they have the ability to shower and to use the toilet. I'm sorry. I think at best, it's a really bad idea that wasn't thought through. At worst, it's a fucking insult. And it's going to actively harm more people. Because of all of these problems, it seems really apparent this guy just hasn't thought of. I mean, I bet if I asked him if he would live there, he's not even here to listen to me ask. He's already gone. He's living in his own nice place. He's got his own apartment or his own home where he can use water wherever he wants. And he has a thermostat to control temperature. And he has a toilet to sit his ass on. Things that he would consider an absolute necessity when you have a home. When you have a place to live. Probably doesn't even think about it. It's just something he probably takes for granted. He would expect to have a bed. He would expect that bed to have sheets. He would expect that those sheets get changed every so often, especially if other people have been sleeping in his bed. He would expect to be able to use heat. Do you go into your apartment or your home and say to yourself, well, I got 4 walls and a roof, and that's all I need to ride out the winter? No, it fucking isn't. You want your heat turned on. And barring that, you want to be able to set a fire somewhere. 4 metal walls and a roof is not going to be good enough to keep you warm when it's 0 degrees outside. I'm sorry. And maybe this guy really does have the best of intentions, or who knows. And where are you going to put all these units? You know, you got big cities. They don't want to see homeless people. They will do anything they can under the sun to ensure that homeless problems do not get fixed. Again, I'm going to quote George Carlin. No war on homelessness. We got a war on crime, a war on AIDS, war on cancer, war on terror, but we have no war on homelessness. Why? There's no money in that problem. No money that people can make off of that problem. Solving homelessness involves putting in money and effort solely to help others. And that's why it doesn't get solved. And that's why another reason number 5,473 that this is a really bad idea. It is at best just insulting. It's going to perpetuate problems. It's going to create all new problems. And I shouldn't assume, but if I didn't know any better, I would assume that this is just part of that placate the public while really not doing anything and solving the only problem that your city really cares about, which is keeping homeless people out of sight and out of mind. Where are you going to put all of these metal dumpsters? Where are you going to put them? You're going to need a hell of a lot of them, because cities have a hell of a lot of homeless and indigent, and maybe even regular people, people that work, people that have children, people that are in trouble, that need a place to stay. Where are you going to put all of these units? Are you going to line them up in alleyways? Are you going to make a tiny, tiny home neighborhood? What about the NIMBY people? Not in my backyard. Do you think people are going to want a row of dumpsters next to their homes and their apartments? They don't want to see them either. Even if it helps homeless people, even if the homeless people themselves are out of sight, they will not be out of mind for these people if they see a row of metal dumpsters without flap doors next to where they walk and work and live. It's going to cause so many problems. I just can't get over it. Now let's see how many of the points I made show up in the comments. Friend of mine lives in a prefabricated house like this. Living there is extremely uncomfortable. Humidity, insulation problems. The exact same thing happens here. and naive people think that homeless people are going to use this for a living. Bingo. Most homeless people aren't homeless because they simply lack a place to live. You have mental illness, you have drug use, antisocial behavior. Those are all fundamental contributors to their condition. These types of people who have no experience working with the homeless have no clue. Guess what? In the United States, up to 60% of homeless people have a job. Many people are homeless simply because they can't afford rent. All of these are instantly going to turn into a drug den or a shithole, but I'm sure whoever is willing to buy one will make good use of it. Oh, so wait, the homeless people have to buy one? They're not giving these to homeless people? I don't think he said anything about how they have to buy one. So the city gets a way to, the city finds a way to make money off of the homeless, covering the cost of all those arrests. No, the homeless will specifically not be able to afford any place to live. And again, if somebody were to own that place, who's going to take care of maintenance? Who's going to take care of refilling the water? Where do they use the bathroom? Where do they shower? What happens if they get bed bugs? Who pays for the exterminator? What if they freeze to death inside anyway because it's a sheet metal dumpster? I can see that place being filled with crumpled up newspapers in some poor schmuck's attempt to create his own insulation. Who's going to clean that up? What happens when the thing starts leaking or there's a horrific smell coming from it? Well, if the person bought the tiny, tiny home, you can't go in there without their permission. It's their home. You would have to give a proper notice. Can you evict people that are homeless from a tiny, tiny home? It's just, they're right when they say the worst shit happens with the best of intentions. This is nothing but a disaster waiting to happen. This isn't even a home. No shower, no toilet, no storage. You cannot have anybody in there. Also, with the earth being earth, this thing looks like it can be broken into and completely destroyed easily. How is he going to roll them out to homeless people? Homeless people don't have money to buy this. But it's better than nothing, right? Yep, that's the point. Lack of toilet alone makes it not a home. Homes need adequate sleeping space, food space, and toilet, showering, cleaning space. This barely checks any of those boxes. Don't forget another important one. Where do you keep it? Who donates land for thousands of these people, if anyone rolls them out? Okay, and when you have dozens or hundreds of these things on a lot with no toilets and no showers and no plumbing and no temperature control, what do you think the hygiene problem is going to turn into? Better than nothing, though. This is the sentiment that kills people. Yep. I'll bet you anything this guy is charging like $15K or some shit. a glorified coffin. Is it any better than the spaces in China and Asia? No, it's not. China and Asia have apartments, like I was just saying. Check out some Ori Katerina videos. Look for the ones where she's in even the smallest apartments. What they provide in that country for the poorest, and the most worst off homeless people. The smallest apartments for the worst off people in her country are 10 times the size of that dumpster. Space for clothes? No. Television? No. Toilet? No. This is not a tiny home. It's an absolute emergency sleep unit. Better than sleeping on a tent or a sidewalk or in the woods, especially if it's a Canadian winter. You will die living in this thing in a Canadian winter. There is no insulation. There is no plumbing. There is no heating. There's not even a little pit in the corner where a person can make a fire. They would actually be safer and warmer in the breezeway of a building, or in a vacant building with a trash can they could set a fire in. Fucking people, man. In the modern world, people consider TVs a necessity for a basic home. I don't own a TV. Yeah. Just like when you say that in recent years we have somewhat been as bad or even worse off than people were generations ago during the Great Depression, people scoff at it. They scoff at this shit. Everything's so nice, everything's so easy, because we live in an era of smartphones and insulated homes and television sets and Apple shit and smart cars. These people actually believe, because we have cell phones, you know, anyone should be happy for something like this. Because, this is the age of smartphones. You have a phone on you, you have a cell phone on you. How dare you complain that there's no heat? We're in the age of smartphones. You have a phone in your pocket. How could you have no money? How could you not have a home? Is it really that bad for you? You have a pawn shop purchased iPod in your pocket. No shit. People are economically worse off in recent years than during the Depression. It doesn't matter if we have iPhones. It doesn't matter if we have smart cars. It doesn't matter if, unlike in 1932, you can walk into a store and the doors magically slide open for you. And they have air conditioning in there. The fuck does that matter? When you're being told to feel so lucky, you get to live in a fucking trash can. Somebody came up with a glorified trash can for you. That'll solve all your problems. Now you can use all that water under the sink to give yourself a whore bath on the bed bug ridden cushion you're supposed to use for a bed. You shit outside behind the unit, and you know, you keep some stolen clothes folded on that little desk to keep them out of the snow, and you're all set to wow people for your job interview tomorrow. And everything will work out just fine. What's the problem? You got a cell phone. I don't know. I fucking don't know. I, this thing, it just really burns my ass. And I'm going to remind you, I mean, if you like watching the cleaning, it's always entertaining to watch Ori Katerina for the cleaning she does. But look at the apartments, some of the apartments she cleans. She usually cleans apartments more than homes. In fact, I hardly ever watch her clean actual homes. Even when they're trashed and she cleans them up, those are the apartments that most people live in. And everyone in that country is entitled to one of them. No matter how bad their life gets, no matter how poor they are, they get an adequate place to live. And people are just fine economically. People are fine financially. In fact, they got a lot better peace of mind. And nobody has to look at a homeless person anyway, because they actually give them homes. They give them places to live. This is a joke. It's an insult. I'm not homeless, and it's an insult to me, and it should be to you.